Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we try to cut through all the noise, help you get genuinely well informed without needing to sift through endless articles yourself. We take a whole stack of sources, articles, research, our own notes, and pull out the really important stuff. The key insights, the surprising facts, hopefully with enough interest to keep you hooked. Today, we're diving into something that honestly feels like it's straight out of a spy movie. It mixes the ambition of job seekers with some pretty serious real-world dangers from state-sponsored cybercrime. Okay, let's try and unpack this a bit. Imagine you're job hunting, right? Scrolling through listings. Maybe you even land an interview offer, a really exciting one. Dream job at some cool crypto firm. You're feeling hopeful, maybe a bit excited, and then that very ambition gets turned against you. Your digital wallet, completely emptied. That's precisely what's happening right now in this huge North Korean-backed crypto scam campaign. It's global. So our mission today is to really explore how this scam works, get a sense of the scale, the bigger picture implications, and crucially, give you some practical pointers on how to protect yourself.
It's genuinely insidious.
Yeah.
Because these operations, they're not just looking for software bugs, they're actively weaponizing human trust.
Yeah.
Hope, even. They target us when we're optimistic, looking for that next step, a better opportunity. And this contagious interview campaign, as it's being called, it just exploits that emotional state perfectly. It's designed to make us lower our guard against things that maybe otherwise would seem like obvious red flags. It's a really unsettling mix of high-tech cybercrime and, frankly, psychological manipulation.
Contagious Interview. That name itself is pretty chilling, isn't it? Almost darkly ironic. Turning the act of trying to improve your life, find a better job, into the very thing that leads to massive theft. And it specifically targets folks in the crypto sector, right? Luring them with these fake but apparently very convincing job offers. So this is where I'm really curious. How do they actually manage to pull this off? How do they make it seem so real?
Well, it starts, as you mentioned, with that initial hook, the lure. Hackers pose as recruiters, often on platforms we all trust, like LinkedIn, maybe Telegram sometimes too. They send messages that seem personalized, offering these incredible-sounding roles at big-name crypto companies, the kind of offer that makes you think, wow, this is it. They often seem to have done their homework too, matching the offer to your profile, your skills.
Ah, okay, so it's not just generic spam hitting everyone. It's targeted. They make it feel like you specifically were sought out. That's clever and kind of creepy.
Exactly. That personalization is key. Once they've got someone interested, hooked by the offer, the next step is really deceptive. They ask the victim to join a virtual interview. But here's the catch. It's not on Zoom or Google Meet, the usual platforms. No, they direct you to these sometimes obscure websites, custom-built maybe, to look like a company portal. Or even sneakier, they ask you to download some software. Disguised, of course.
Disguised as what, typically?
Could be anything that sounds plausible. A skill test, maybe a secure communication tool for the interview, or perhaps a video platform the company supposedly uses. Things that sound perfectly normal, especially for a tech or executive role.
Right, and I can totally see how someone eager for the job, maybe a bit stressed by the interview process, would just download it. Thinking, okay, this is just part of their hiring protocol, especially if it looks like it's from a big reputable company. Your guard just naturally drops. That's the trap, isn't it? That expectation feels normal.
Absolutely. That combination, the emotional investment, the apparent legitimacy, it creates the perfect opening. And once that malicious software gets installed, and often it's quite sophisticated, like a remote access Trojan or IT. It might look like a simple messaging app or a skills test platform, but it creates a backdoor into the victim's system.
A backdoor meaning?
Meaning the attackers can then remotely control the device, they can log keystrokes, steal files, grab sensitive data, and crucially, they can get direct access to cryptocurrency wallets stored on that machine or access through it. They might steal seed phrases, private keys, or even try to bypass things like two-factor authentication by intercepting codes using that remote access. It's a total digital compromise.
Wow. So it's not just stealing a password. They're essentially setting up shop inside your digital life, specifically hunting for crypto. That contagious interview name really hits home then. It infects your system through the promise of a job. Do the sources give any specific, real-world examples just to show how convincing these fakes are?
Oh, definitely. The sources paint a pretty clear picture. There's one case mentioned, an applicant who was totally convinced by someone claiming to be from Ripple Labs. This person was persuaded to record a video using software the recruiter provided. Seemed like a standard assessment step. Only later did they realize about, $1,000 worth of Ether and Solana had vanished from their wallet.
Ouch. $1,000. That's significant. And just gone like that.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And another person apparently just narrowly dodged a similar bullet. They got suspicious about a recruiter pretending to be from Kraken Exchange.
Huh.
Something about the offer, maybe the pressure,
Yeah.
just felt off. Luckily, they stopped before downloading anything. But the point is, these aren't clumsy attempts. The personalization is often spot on. And they're targeting specific people: coders, execs, consultants, marketers, people active in crypto who get these tailored approaches. It makes it incredibly tough to spot the fake.
So they're doing recon, building believable fake personas, and then just hitting that universal button, the desire for a better job. Cynical, but clearly effective. But you mentioned earlier, this isn't just random hackers. It's bigger than that, right? State-backed actors.
That's the crucial and frankly alarming part. This isn't just about individual criminals trying to make a quick buck, though the impact on the victims is devastating, of course. No, solid investigations by cybersecurity firms Sentinel and Veladin were mentioned have traced this Contagious Interview campaign and others like it directly to North Korean state-sponsored groups. The scale they operate on is, well, it's staggering. It functions as a major illicit income source for the regime.
North Korea, okay, that completely changes the game. We're moving from cybercrime into geopolitics now. How big are we talking here? What kind of scale are these operations?
The figures are pretty startling. North Korea is thought to have stolen, get this, over $1.34 billion in cryptocurrency just last year, globally. To put that in perspective for our listeners, that's roughly, what, 11,100 crore Indian rupees? It's an enormous amount of money, enough to fund significant state activities. It really underlined how sophisticated and persistent these state-level attacks have become.
$1.34 billion from crypto theft, especially for a country under heavy sanctions.
That's right. Wow. So connecting the dots here, where does that money likely go? What's the strategic impact?
Well, if we look at the bigger picture, intelligence suggests these funds flow directly into Pyongyang's strategic priorities, specifically funding its sanctioned weapons programs. We're talking nuclear development, ballistic missile programs, things they can't easily fund through legitimate channels because of international sanctions. So cryptocurrency theft becomes this vital kind of off-the-books lifeline for the regime. And that's why this isn't just about stolen Ether or Bitcoin. It morphs into a global security issue. These cyber heists are actively undermining non-proliferation efforts, fueling regional instability. It shows how digital vulnerabilities can have very real, very serious global consequences. Right. So my job search could inadvertently be funding a missile program. That's a deeply uncomfortable thought. It really does elevate this way beyond typical cybercrime. It's state-sponsored digital warfare almost, funding actual warfare capabilities. Given that scale and the fact it's state-sponsored, how effective can national defenses even be? I mean, these attackers are operating across borders with state resources behind them.
That's a really important point. It highlights the challenge. No single country can really tackle this alone. National efforts are absolutely vital, don't get me wrong, and some places are doing impressive work. But the borderless nature of this crime means international cooperation is non-negotiable.
That makes total sense. And speaking of national efforts, it seems some countries are taking pretty aggressive steps. Like in India, their Department of Telecommunications, the DOT, apparently blocked something like 3 to 4 lakh SIM cards linked to scams. That's hundreds of thousands. And they're not just reacting, are they? They're using AI systems to actively hunt these down.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting development. They're using AI-powered systems to analyze call patterns, network data, looking for anomalies. These systems can spot clusters of numbers making suspicious calls or sending out mass scam messages. It's like digital forensics happening in real time on a massive scale. They look for things like unusual call durations, numbers making thousands of calls quickly, patterns that scream scam. Once the AI flags a number or a set of numbers, they can move to disconnect them, sometimes very quickly. It's proactive.
That's fascinating. Using AI to fight AI-assisted scams almost, a digital arms race. What about raising awareness? Beyond the tech, what are authorities doing to warn people?
Well, again, using India as an example, their Cybercrime Coordination Center, the I4C, they're putting out public warnings. They're telling people to be wary of fake calls about, say, eSIM activation. That's a nasty one, where criminals try to hijack your phone number itself. That allows them to intercept security codes, OTPs, sent via SMS, critical for accessing banks or crypto accounts. They also warn about the usual suspects: phishing links in emails or messages trying to steal your logins, and calls or texts trying to trick you into revealing OTPs. It's all about compromising your digital identity to get to your money.
That eSIM scam sounds particularly dangerous, getting control of the phone number itself. And critically, they provide ways for people to report this stuff, right? There's a helpline number.
Yes, that's crucial. They recommend using the cybercrime helpline number 1930 or reporting via an official online portal, because getting reports from the public helps them identify new scam tactics, track down the criminals, and warn others. Collective awareness really is a key defense.
Okay, so national efforts like blocking SIMs, using AI, public warnings, reporting channels, these are all important pieces.
Absolutely. And these national strategies feed into the bigger international picture. We see collaboration between cybersecurity firms globally, law enforcement like Interpol, Europol working together. There's intelligence sharing, coordinated efforts to take down the hackers' infrastructure, servers, websites, etc. Sometimes even diplomatic channels are used. But, and this is a big but, the experts all warn this threat is constantly evolving. North Korean actors, in particular, are getting better and better at the social engineering side, at impersonating people convincingly, making the scams harder to spot. They learn, they adapt.
So it's a moving target. You glock one method, they find another. That sounds exhausting to defend against. So for our listeners hearing all this, what are the absolute key takeaways? Beyond reporting, what should people be doing personally? What are the essential defenses?
Yeah, it really boils down to individual vigilance, layered with good security practices. First, always verify recruiters and companies independently. Don't just click links or trust contact info in an unsolicited message. Go to the company's official website. Find their actual HR department. Verify the job opening and the recruiter there.
So do your own homework, basically. Don't take their word for it.
Exactly. Second, be incredibly wary of downloading any software as part of an interview process, especially from unknown sources. Legitimate companies rarely need you to install proprietary apps for an initial chat. Question it, push back, use standard platforms.
Right. If it feels weird, it probably is weird.
Pretty much. Third, protect your crypto assets robustly. Use hardware wallets, those offline devices for significant amounts. Enable the strongest possible two-factor authentication, preferably app-based or hardware key, not just SMS, on all your accounts. Maybe even consider a dedicated secure computer, potentially air-gapped, just for managing crypto if you hold a lot.
Okay, so serious security hygiene.
Essential hygiene. And finally, just stay informed. Keep learning about the latest scam tactics. These things change fast. As the theft continues, the consensus is clear. We need ongoing vigilance from everyone, better global cooperation, and much more awareness to protect our digital lives. It's not just about knowing what's happening, but really understanding how to react and shield yourself.
This whole deep dive really paints a picture, doesn't it? In our digital world, that line between a great opportunity and a serious threat can be incredibly thin, especially with sophisticated state-backed groups involved. From that first tempting message on LinkedIn to the malware that drains a wallet, the contagious interview scam is a stark reminder. We need constant digital caution, and it highlights how these digital crimes ripple outwards, affecting even global security.
It certainly does. And maybe a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. Given how sophisticated these cybercriminals are becoming, how good they are at playing on our own hopes and psychology, what steps could you take, beyond just protecting yourself, to maybe help raise awareness within your own circles? Your workplace, your friends, your online communities. Because tackling this really does need more than just individual defense. It needs a kind of collective vigilance, a community effort, which is vital when the threats are this persistent and this clever. Stay curious, definitely stay vigilant, and thanks for diving deep with us today.